Welcome back to Ranma Anime Review, Part 8. This is I'm reviewing episodes 40 through 55. Yep. Now, the thing with these episodes are, now I just looked up to before I did my review, especially before I did the last episode, this bunch, is that I did figure out what chapters were adapted for each episode. Yep. Now, for the first season of the show, Season 1, out of the entire 18 episode season, all but two were all canon episodes. Yeah, there were two filler episodes, 14 and 18. The first 13 episodes and 15 and 17 are all canon, and they adapt chapters 1 through 22 and 31-36. Season 2, which basically, well, kind of like Season 1, only had two filler episodes, which is fine. And, yeah, so the first season didn't have many fill episodes, but starting with the current season, yeah, there's a heck of a lot more. Like, oh my gosh, there's a heck of a lot more filler episodes when it comes to this particular series. Yeah, I basically did a little bit of research. Okay, now the current season has now the previous season basically adapted for episodes 1934 and 37 to 40, chapters 23 to 30, 37-55, 50 to 65, 67 to 84, and 95 to 99. Yes. For this particular season, now, the episodes I'm covering, now, there's only one canon episode, 53. And that's pretty much it. Yep, out of this entire season, of this bunch of episodes, only one is canon. Yep, only one. And that will be the 53rd episode. Yep. Yeah, that's the only one. Which is quite interesting. Now, the first episode is quite ingenious. Okay, so apparently there's a group of people who don't like, apparently with people who can change, apparently commit some crimes. So they have to kidnap them and sort of retrain them. So these people kidnap pretty much everybody who has the ability to transform something else. They kidnap first they kidnap Shampoo and Moose, which they also transform into their animal form. They also kidnap Roga, yeah, one of his three appearances he makes in these episodes. Yeah, one of three. His next appearance comes up later. We also have, let's see, trying to think what else here. Oh yeah, then they kill off Genta, and finally Ranma, and they take them all kind of back to China, and they kind of had to basically do some fighting, and they get out of there. It's an okay episode, and it's also the person who kidnap him. It's also someone who can transform. Who can transform into a priest, apparently. Yeah, it's a particularly very odd episode. Does it affect the series? Nope, it's a filler, so it doesn't. But it's an okay episode. But it's actually one of Shampoo's very few appearances. Yep. 49. I was not a very fan of this one. Yep. The one where Ram basically acts like a woman a lot more than he usually does. Like, oh my gosh. This episode, in my opinion, was very bland. I just didn't really care for it. In my opinion, it's one of the worst episodes of the whole series. The other thing nice about this episode is basically the animation, the voice acting. I didn't care if okay, he hits a rock and he still acts like a woman. The whole episode hits a rock again, back normal, and then hits a rock again, and he acts like something else now. Yeah, episode that goes nowhere. 50. Interesting little one. Yeah, where apparently Genta and Sao, Akane and Rima's fathers, decide to go on a little trip, and Hibashi basically, Hepasai is still stealing stuff, and they learn invisible jitsu, and it turns out that the guy that they learned this whole invisible stuff actually is an old friend of Hepasai. Yep, old friend of his. They've listened to the episode. Not much of this episode, aside from the fact that Hepasai gets a bit of a character development in this episode. Yep. 51. Ooh, this was a fun one. And here's kind of the strange thing about this episode. This is the first of like 3 appearances for Kadachi. Actually, first of a few appearances. Yeah, first of 4 because Yeah, I was looking at basically her previous appearances. This character doesn't really appear very much in the whole series. Yeah, and the episode starts off with her basically baking cookies for Renma. And then she gets an argument with her brother, who just happened to come into this room. Oh, by the way, this is something quite interesting about her. This is probably the only episode I've seen where she is one of the very few episodes where she's not wearing her leotard. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of interesting that she's like that. She wears basically kind of like almost like a maid's outfit or like a female chef's outfit, well, the chef hat. Yeah, and she spends time baking rum cookies. She's actually really damn good cook. Is the series. One of two actually is a really good cook. The other, of course, is Uko. Yep. And in case you're wondering, does she appear in these episodes? Oh yes, she appears in one episode of this bunch. One. Kadachi, this is her only appearance in this set of episodes. Yep. And, well, the whole thing with this one is that they're ninja, who basically just can't take sides between the brother and sister, runs away, stays with Connie briefly, and, well, then he goes back, and then pretty much the episode kind of ends. Kind of how the episode begins, with them arguing and him not taking sides between his master and his mistress. Yeah, but at least it's a pretty interesting episode. Focus on a character. Don't get a chance to get a lot of character with Sanosuke. Yep. 52. Yes, this is basically Uko's only appearance in these set of episodes. Yeah, her only appearance. Yeah, basically there's some ghost busting in this one. This one was quite interesting. I kind of wish this one that was canon because of how interesting this was. Okay, there's a mysterious ghost that's rampaging the school. Who this ghost is quite interesting. Okay. So, pretty much, like, some of the characters decided to volunteer for this. Like, apparently that... Here's kind of interesting. Okay, so apparently Renma, Akane, some of their friends, along with their fathers, Hippocyte decided to tag along for some strange reason. I don't know why. Well, actually, so he can probably be a pervert and basically grow up a lot of the girls. Yep. And, well, then pretty much like they go to school at night. They discover who's actually behind this, and it's Kendo. But it's actually not him. He's actually possessed. Yeah. Oh yeah, and during the course, this Ranma, who's in his girl form, yeah, he got turned into a girl. Yeah. Basically, the possessed Kendo decided to almost shred Ranma's entire top. Yeah, almost shred almost the whole thing, including part of his pants. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. How in the world he's actually freed from this? Now, how he got? Now he's possessed by a sword. Yes, a sword possession episode. Why not a sword possession episode? Okay. And now, not the first series I've seen where a sword possesses the wielder. They also did this in JoJo, and I think it's been like one or series I've seen this in, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. Apparently, this belonged to some ancient feudal warlord, and he apparently wants against enemies. Oh yeah, and apparently Akane is sort of a reincarnation of his old girlfriend. I'm like, wow, the second time in the series you have a filler episode, and the evil person in the episode thinks one of the main characters is their lost love. In the case of last time, it was Genta. This time it's Akane. Yep. Probably also due to the fact that Kendo was in love with him. In love with her, anyways. Yeah. And how he got the possessed sword? Apparently, Sanosuke found this in the ceiling of the dojo. Okay, who in their right mind will put a possessed sword in a Kendo club ceiling? And also, and at the end of the episode, after he's freed, he finds a scabbard, a bunch of other artifacts. Apparently, he has a obsession with ancient artifacts. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. It may not go into place, but it's an interesting trait for the character. Yep. 53. Yeah. Yeah, by far the only canon episode of the whole series. This episode, I can't remember what happened in the manga. Ranma, almost the whole episode, is in girl form, with the exception of a few scenes. Yeah, he wears a swimsuit with boy written on it. Yeah, and Akane asks the obvious question, why are you in your girl form? and wearing why are you wearing that swimsuit in your girl form? Will you wear like a different outfit? Well, because in case he transforms, he can automatically be in the suit. Yeah, as for why it's his boy, because well, he's a boy. Yeah. And Hipposai, his pervertness is basically like set to 11. Basically, he's also gone from stealing underwear to stealing bikinis. Yes. And somehow in his junk, he managed to get his hands on a special bracelet. Where he got this thing is never explained. Yeah. And apparently, this is the thing that contains love pills. Yep. And the first one to take this pill is Ranma, who instantly falls in love with Cologne. Like, if it lasts like a brief second, and that pretty much was it. And, like, then Akane tastes one, lasts for like a whole day, trying to get Ranma to basically see Ranma so they can instantly fall in love and have a little married, but that's going to place. Now, now, basically, there are three of these little love pills. One is instant, one is 24 hours, the other, of course, is like forever. And they thought that Akane took the fair one. It's implied she kind of did, but wore it off really quickly. And there was one pill that fell in the ocean into the mouth of an octopus. And the octopus falls. So Hippocyte, who just happened to kick in the ocean for one of his frequent rampages. Also, this is this is Shampoo's second appearance in these episodes. She has appeared in one episode. She appears in a fell episode. And that's pretty much it when it comes to her appearances, and pretty much in this set of episodes. Like, her next appearance is in episode 55. 54 also features Hippocyte. Actually, it's not Hippocyte. This one is quite unusual. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, now apparently you have it where Moose meets up with Roga. Now, Heikeishi, have these two met in the manga? Yes, but much later. They met in different circumstances. Yeah, apparently Moose just happened to find Roga just wandering around. Now, he was also in the previous one, but his appearance in that previous episode was nothing more than a freaking cameo. Like, he appears briefly for a couple scenes, and that was it. Doesn't do anything effective to the plot. He transforms into his pig form. That's pretty much it. And of course, Roga basically is acting really weird. Why he's acting really weird? Because of his affection toward Akane. Also, he says some stuff toward Ranma that actress completely drew all in his head. Yeah, of how they treat him as a pet and the fact he throws trash. Yeah, I'm sure that Ranma's like, that's all in your head. That never actually happened. Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me, but this was an interesting concept for a filler episode. I mean, two people who are basically Ranma's rivals teaming up against him. Quite an ingenious concept for the anime to do. Yes, the manga did it later, but at least it was an ingenious concept. It's a concept basically. I think maybe the writer who probably watched this episode probably, hey, I think this is not something I wrote. It's something I wrote. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm sure she probably did because it happened several times after this. Usually they work together to work with Ranma to stop some plot of one of the villains of whatever arc the series goes through. Yeah. In the case of like the following episode, this one features the return of like Hippocyte. This is also one of you that well, the whole thing with Cologne, though we kind of knew that anyways. The viewers probably knew. Yeah, and apparently Hippocyte's real name was Happy. Okay, and the whole episode. Now this is probably the first episode of the series to feature the dojo, but you don't see the building. You just see the outside gate. Because the whole episode goes time traveling back to the past. And apparently changed animation for some reason for this episode. I thought this was really weird. Yeah, it's kind of like the stuff we had basically here, and then we go to like different part of the episode. It's kind of like animation style from the 70s, kind of in a way. Yeah, but yeah, apparently Hippocyte wants to sell us some of his junk drawer. Okay. And somehow, I think it's Shampoo just randomly finds a magic mirror. And this magic mirror was Cologne's. Yep. And at one point, Cologne basically wrecks the wall of the outside of the dojo. And somehow, Genta and Sao basically hear this. and then they go sort of get absorbed in the mirror, and well, basically you have Hippocyte and Cologne fighting over it. They time travel back in time what looks like about a couple hundred years in China, and we see Cologne like. And I'm surprised nobody pointed this out when they finally made it. Like, first you see Hippocyte, which he kind of looks like who he does in present day, except that he wasn't a blonde like he thought he was. Yeah, as for Cologne actually, that part was correct. Hippocyte's account of himself, his younger version, was actually incorrect. Now, one thing the episode does not explain. How the heck did Cologne went from the smoking hot, very tall woman to the way she is currently? Yeah, that's never explained. Or, like, here's something, though. And nope, none of the cast point this out though when they see Cologne. That Shampoo is a spitting image of her. Yeah, she looks almost exactly like Shampoo. And Shampoo doesn't point this out. Ranma, not even Akane, or their respective fathers. Yeah. And one of the main minor plots this episode is seeing Hippocyte and Cologne try to hook up in the frickin' past. And we still see his perverseness, despite the fact that apparently Hippocyte was actually with Cologne since she was 18. Okay. Our legend go any place. And reveals the whole reasoning. Now, her side of the story, that part was true. Yeah. And how they got Back to the Future, they just cried in the mirror and Back to the Future. And apparently, no one remembers what happened past. I think maybe Chloe would do, but no. And of course, well, because it's a filler episode, never brought it up again, but it's a fun little filler episode, and it's something now. It's not surprising Ranma is actually taller than the younger Cologne. Yeah, it's not surprising because he usually is pretty much taller than a lot of the characters in the series, with the exception. I think his father is pretty much about the same height as his father. But I think the only character who's probably taller than him is probably Akane's father. Though, of course, another thing serious and about to explain. Why in the world does Sao and Genta have red skin? Yeah, that was never explained. Yeah. But in the case of, well, these episodes, I would definitely say the weakest one is episode number. I would say it's 49 is the weakest of all these episodes. Yes, 49 is the weakest. I would say the most interesting ones, basically, they did for these ones was 51 was quite interesting. 53 was really good. I like 50, like, basically, you could definitely say that 51 to, I'd say 54, 53 is really good. 55 is really cool. 54 is interesting concept that was explored later. 48, great, pretty good episode. 50 was okay. But for my next review, which will be part 9 for the series, that will cover episodes 56 through pretty much the end of the season. Yeah, I'll cover the rest of the season at that point. Yeah, so that's it for this particular review. I have roughly 2 more videos I'm going to do because it's getting close to the end of the year anyway, so why not? Alright, my next video we're going to talk about is anime in 2019. Okay? But, excuse me. See you next view. Bye.